Hi, I'm Kyle. Today, for my advocacy presentation, I'll be talking about the NRA and how, in order for people in our society to be content and comfortable with the fact that guns are in part of most people's lives and even some people's daily lives, and a lot of people's daily lives that don't know that it's present, that the NRA is there to support and help the uninformed about how gun safety and the laws are actually a lot stricter than what most people think. One thing that it must be broadcasted about is gun ownership is a right and a responsibility. And most 90%, in my opinion, if not even more than that, are greatly responsible, and they are informed of their responsibility and laws that have to go along with that, and also safety. People opposed to gun ownership, in my opinion, just haven't really been exposed to the better side, for what I would say, of owning guns and operating them at a recreational level, whether that be hunting or shooting in competition, and then also the side of like police officers and airport security and anything that might be. Most of the time in the news when people do hear about guns, it's because of mass shootings and people that break in and robberies, and they use them to threaten people to get something that they want, or just for no apparent reason. People that usually carry stuff out like this, they own the guns illegally. So say a school shooting or the one in Las Vegas, those types of guns are most of the time owned illegally, or they're purchased through the black market, which is, believe it or not that hard to do if someone really has a mission and a goal that they're trying to accomplish. The NRA is in society to teach, not persuade, but to inform people about how guns can be safe when people are taught how to use them correctly, to promote using guns in a recreational form, whether it be at competition or at the ranch with your family and friends. One thing from their website that I got is kind of just how big they really are, which I didn't realize until I did a little bit of research. And what they've said on there is that we've awarded nearly $398 million in grant funding in support of the shooting sports, which to me is just absolutely huge and a lot of money to throw into that industry. I'll begin next by describing the problems and misunderstandings that people have just about guns in general in our society and how they might see those as being unsafe. The need, I guess, in the sport of shooting and all other recreational activities is pretty much just to make people feel comfortable around, or not around, but that guns are always going to be present. I don't believe that there'll ever become a day that every single gun on the earth will get taken away and thrown into the ocean. I don't think that'll ever happen. So the people that are scared of them or just not comfortable around them, or just that they're present every day, the NRA is there to make you feel more comfortable about that. And it's just about giving yourself a little bit of time to just go and see if that's something that you'd want to be a part of, and listen out on both sides whether or not that's something for you. One of the things that I grew up hearing, and I've been told all my life, and then you hear it with all the shootings and all of the media and the news from the advocate side of gun ownership and freedoms, is that guns don't kill people and people kill people. I find that to be completely true. You see the funny Facebook posts where someone puts a gun on a table and for an hour and they say, well, that gun didn't kill anybody. Well, it's completely true, because a gun's not going to go off on its own if it's well made and properly taken care of. I've personally grown up hunting and shooting competition a little bit here and there my whole life, and I've never truly experienced any kind of horrific accident or anything that would cause me to have a fear of being around guns at all. Some people I've noticed throughout my life have been more informed and better with their safety than others, and I'm very quick to always jump in and try and do my best to help them learn. Like, hey, maybe try this a little bit different next time. And I feel like just anybody that knows one step above the other when dealing with guns can be there to help. I'll next talk about like what could possibly satisfy solutions in the modern day world and like with our problems. And so the NRA, they target, I guess, the younger generation and kids, and trying to get them involved before they just don't really care about it at all or have a bad experience with it. One thing that I kind of take from it and can give you guys a visualization is when I grew up around guns and stuff and shooting and all that, and then I started to play video games a little bit, but that was never really kind of my thing. And I know that it's two huge ends of the spectrum, but it's where whenever you grow up, you learn to say yes sir, no sir, hold the door for people, say thank you, no thank you. That is implemented in your brain at a really young age, just like a lot of many other things. And just me growing up with those kinds of morals and then knowing the safety and responsibility and the threats behind firearms, somebody else in another household or in someone else's shoes could have started playing those video games that and like the video games that are violent, and and what am I trying to say? They basically just, like, there's killing involved with humans. And so one person that grew up thinking that that was okay because of a video game that they were playing, one day goes mentally unstable, and they think that's something to jump to. And I think that video games has a lot to do with the recent actions that we've seen in our society today. The best way to put in perspective, I guess, again, and the NRA puts this on their webpage, is the heart of the NRA Foundation's mission is preserving the core of our American values and traditions. And to put like that in perspective for you, they just want to make sure that the Second Amendment is a thing and the right to bear arms is in the Constitution, and it's legal to own a weapon and use it safely and operate it at the right condition and the right times. To close out my speech, I influence you, or I advocate going out and looking at the NRA website, maybe listening to some speeches that someone has presented, or watching a YouTube video, or even a magazine article if you see one somewhere in the grocery store or wherever you might find one. And just listen to what they have to say and see if the NRA would be something beneficial for you, or maybe one day in the future when you have kids and you want to make sure that they're comfortable and responsible about knowing and learning the importance of how dangerous a gun can be, but in the same time, how fun it could be to go out and have fun on the weekend with friends and family on a hunting expedition, or say to go shoot at competition. I think the NRA is a great way to help the next generation, and it's something that we should all look into joining and contributing to.